Mm. Hi, Thomas.
Hey, how are you, Marcia?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well today. This is
It's
kind of cool. This is a first for me, chatting with somebody
yeah,
via Skype for business. I've
yeah,
done it with my kids and stuff.
yeah. It makes us feel global, doesn't it?
Yeah, sure
Yeah,
does,
and
sure
young
does.
too. Uh,
Well, we can start off by chatting about the email that you sent, and
yeah,
maybe just give me a little bit of background, and I'll be looking down, jotting notes and
sure,
stuff.
of course.
Uh, Let me see if I can also just turn up the volume on this a little bit before we get started, because
Yeah.
some other folks are a little bit louder than I anticipated. There you go. Say something and let me hear.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
yeah, very good.
I noticed there was a note from I can't remember his name, the lawyer who we sent the email to. It was
Mhm.
referred to us by Joe regarding the fact that I'm in Brazil, but my husband is an American citizen and he
Mhm.
works for American Airlines. He's based in New York, so you won't have any problems with us as far as following up on whatever commitments we make with you.
Okay.
So
Okay.
just to let you know.
Yes. Okay. So tell me a little bit about the situation.
It's very unpleasant because
Okay.
my brother and my sister-in-law, we're waiting for this visa. It's a visa that Clinton came up with for people like them who would have a sponsor, and we
Mm-hmm.
were we just graciously wanted to help them to
Yeah.
have the possibility of wait for this visa and live in a property that they would eventually call their own by having it under their names. We didn't think twice about the size of the commitment we were making because, as family goes, my
Sure.
brother, of course, I wouldn't have any problems with it,
Yeah.
but neither did we realize that they could divorce or separate it. They got separated in the end,
Yeah.
and that would turn out to bite us.
Yes.
We want to assume other financial commitments. We
Mm-hmm.
might want to have another mortgage, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, our names are tied to this financial mortgage lease
Yeah.
with the bank,
Yeah.
and that's an impediment for us.
Yeah. And some questions that I have. Uh, some of the documents that you sent said that they were divorced in 2006, but I have trouble understanding that along with then now this petition of divorce that's being sent. So
Yeah,
what's the background on that?
I think the lawyer, my sister-in-law's lawyer, petitioned for a divorce instead of a separation. I mean, they were divorced, living together, and got separated in 2013, I think it was, or 14, right?
Yes.
So I don't know if the weight was, I don't know if she perceived it to have a better case saying they were getting divorced, which in fact they already were.
And I haven't done any work to see, what the records are. I mean, if they are already divorced, then they shouldn't be getting a divorce again.
I know.
There isn't a separation.
Uh,
Uh,
isn't there a
Not
separation?
an official, like a separation uh, suit or something that makes it official
Mm.
on a separation in Texas.
I
Um,
thought Texas common law, weird,
yeah,
naive. I
well,
mean, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, and that would be the same as that they would have to prove in court what they had together, etc. To the
yeah, and that would be figuring out the assets in that. But I'm surprised that it's being done under a petition for divorce.
yes,
Again, if that is in fact the case, they were officially divorced in
Yeah, they were.
2006.
Yeah, and I sent you the record of it.
I did see the front page, but I didn't dig into it at all. There was just one page. It wasn't a full.
Yeah, it's just we got that from the internet, just a record of the actual divorce. You know, we can get that on the internet, but
Yeah,
probably doesn't
yeah.
come up with the whole
Yeah,
set
with
of
the
documents.
actual.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'd like to see if you guys decide to bring me in on this.
sure.
Some other questions that I have. Let me see. What was the information on an attorney treating your husband for an INS violation? What was?
Yeah, okay. My husband sent my former sister-in-law, I'll use her name, Miss Jacques. He had been talking to her after they got separated. My brother came to Brazil. My husband let her continue to be in the house until she could find suitable accommodation. Their separation was awful. It involved adultery on my brother's behalf, etc. So my husband Michael let her stay in the house while she could find suitable accommodation. Once again, we're kind of family and trying to be friendly.
What year would this be, roughly?
That's 2014.
Okay.
So eventually and my husband kept asking her, please, you have to leave the house, you have to put it up for sale because I don't want this commitment anymore. On a friendly way, you know. And she kept telling him that she was looking for another place to go, etc. Eventually she stopped taking his calls. So my husband sent her an eviction notice, and this is when she hired a lawyer, and this lawyer said, or threatened him to say, you have harbored illegal immigrants. And that was just, it's just like you're doing somebody a favor, and that really comes back to you and say, look, this is really bad, Tom. It's really bad. It's it's very unpleasant.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for my husband as well because we're talking about my brother, right? So I asked my husband to do as a favor for my brother.
Yeah.
And this all ends up to being such a problem for my husband as well.
Yes. I can definitely feel your angst and understand.
Yeah, and I'm
the burden that puts on you.
And I'm the one in the middle because I don't want harm to any parties. I don't want to harm my brother.
Yeah, and that was one of the questions that I had because the emails that you sent along sounded like what you're looking for out of this is for the house to be sold and the proceeds of any equity or whatever to be split between the sister-in-law and your brother.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. So you're not looking for your own interests in
no,
this.
Not
you
at all.
Want them to, because of some questions there, they did pay the mortgage.
Yes.
Are they? And that's another question I have. Are you paying now?
No.
Or
she keeps paying it.
She does continue to pay.
She has continued to pay for it.
You have the obligation that's over your head that
yes.
As being listed on the as owner of the property and
sure.
Officially you're on the hook for it. But to this point, she's not behind in any payments or anything like that.
No.
As far as
she is not what? Sorry.
Behind on any payments or anything.
No, it's all up to date. It's not a lot. It's not even a lot of equity in it. You see, it is not even warrant going to court or, with all due respect, but it doesn't have anything much.
Yeah.
As far as being a fair deal financially, my brother was not. My brother was harmed by it because she kept 3 vehicles, which are not of great value, but they are hers now. They paid for a property in Brazil under her mother's name. And again, you might find that amazing, but families, kind of trusting families, right?
Sure.
And when it came the separation, she never gave anything to him. She said, under my mother's name, there's nothing he can do. But regardless of that, Tom, regardless of being an unfair deal for my brother, I want to maintain that we are neutral on this. We just don't want our names in this mortgage. My brother is not going to go through courts in the US because he lives in Brazil. He does not earn US dollars. And it's now up to me or my husband, and my brother will pay for this, although he doesn't have a lot of money, to just have our names out of this lease. This is all we want. Through an agreement would be great. The simplest way possible. Again, we don't want to harm anybody. We don't even want to harm her.
Right.
In any
I think the fact
way.
that you're willing to give, split the equity is magnanimous. Given everything that you've gone through.
The only thing, though, Tom, is that I would like, she has to pay for these fees, for whatever legal fees are involved. I think that would be just fair. I don't, that would have to come out of the equity somehow.
Yeah, and I don't know, to be honest with you, if there's a way to enforce that. This is your interest in the house, and maybe in some sort of agreement that we come up with, that could be included in it. But I can't guarantee that. I can't say right now that there is an interest here that requires her to pay attorney's fees.
Right.
Right now, it's not. You need to fight on your own behalf, and if we can work it into some sort of agreement.
Oh, okay. I mean, you get paid for sure. What I'm saying is, out of just fairness, it shouldn't even come. And again, due respect to your work, it shouldn't even come to that. I have been in touch with her sister, who lives in Brazil, and I said, look, just let us out of this.
Mm-hmm. Let me talk about, because I think, you would want somebody representing your interests here in Louisville for the property that you have under your name. I think it's smart that you're contacting somebody that, besides you just calling, is it Ms. Palmer or whatever, the attorney that drafted the second divorce decree. I think it's smart that you have somebody separate from her representing your interests.
I understand.
Let me tell you what, and I think it's something that we could do for you if you'd like, but our requirements are, we do require a retainer agreement.
Yeah.
And it would be probably also, given the distance and everything, it would have to be a minimum of $3,000.
I see. Yeah.
I don't know if that precludes you from doing this, but that is something I could send you, the retainer agreement, which has all of the fees laid out and the requirements and everything.
Yeah.
And then if you wanted to send that back after looking over, have you and your husband sign it, because you're both listed on the property.
Yep.
Then I could begin to represent you and make sure that your interests are taken care of in this whole process.
Right. I just wanted to explore with you, and there's no problem about the retainer. I just want to explore with you what is the least expensive way to deal with this, because as you can see, the financial burden becomes ours, and we need to know that is something we can do. That probably, would that be possible for you to be a mediator?
Yeah, well, what I would do, I would be representing your interests. So I wouldn't be in the middle representing both sides. That's what a mediator does, kind of, is in between. I would not necessarily be in between. What I would be doing is representing your interest, which is the interest of the property, and making sure that your wishes are agreed to and followed. I definitely understand and can feel for your requirement of not having to spend a lot of money on this, because I mean, it's like it's not even your fight, it's not even your it's not even your thing. So to then have a greater financial burden is a pain. But I think your situation does require somebody here that can represent your interests.
Right.